Where were Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Did you see them? I didn't see them.
Where was Tic Tac?
Good question.
No, I mean, really, I have no idea.
I mean, I don't remember being asked to be in their movie, just saying.
Maybe they were on their way, but they went subatomic.
Maybe they were there, but they were pretty tiny, and there were definitely some ants in Wakanda, so...
Maybe they're in the same place as Hawkeye?
Gamora, Thor, Spider-Man.
I was really looking forward to meeting the Wasp.
Yeah, no, not there. Weird.
Alright, what is going on guys, it's Tazz here, and welcome back to the channel. Now today what we've got for you guys is my spoiler-free review for the latest entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that being Ant-Man and the Wasp. So if you guys do want to talk spoilers down in the comments, I would be happy to do so. Just put a little spoiler warning for the people who haven't seen the movie yet. But without any further ado guys, let's get into my review. Ant-Man and the Wasp, the sequel to the first Ant-Man movie, takes place after Civil War but before the events of Infinity War, or kind of happening concurrently with Infinity War, depending on how you want to look at it, but I don't want to go too deep into that in order to avoid spoilers. So first off, I want to start by just saying I absolutely loved this movie. It was hilarious and I thought it had a great storyline, and it was a nice change of pace from the dark and grim Infinity War, even though that was great too. It was nice to just see a smaller, no pun intended, or maybe it was, a smaller movie that we kind of needed a more self-contained, more fun Marvel movie after, again, the events of Infinity War. As for plot, throughout the movie we had Scott still dealing with being under house arrest as a result of what he did during Civil War, and throughout he was trying not to get caught as well as trying to help out Hank and Hope with finding Janet in the quantum realm, as well as dealing with a sort of ghost problem. And that's about as far as I'm going to go into story details without having to spoil anything, but I will just say that I definitely did enjoy this movie a lot more than the first one. I really did like the first Ant-Man, but I feel like, in my opinion at least, this one is hands down just a much better movie. And one of those reasons I felt that Ant-Man and the Wasp was a much better movie than the original was because of the villain. I felt like the first movie definitely did suffer from sort of a villain problem, but this movie I think definitely fixed that. The villain of the movie, like I mentioned earlier, was Ghost to an extent. She was a character that had a specific goal that you could definitely sympathize with and understand why she was doing what she was doing, but I wouldn't say that she was the main big bad of the movie. There were other antagonists throughout that kind of were in the way of completing the main goal of the movie, but I don't think that there was one specific big bad of the movie, kind of like a Thanos type, but I did think that Ghost was the kind of standout among the villains. As for the other characters in the movie, Paul Rudd as Scott Lang Ant-Man was hilarious as always, and his interactions with everyone in the movie, like his daughter Cassie, as well as with Hope and Hank and stuff, I think his interactions were some of the best within the movie. Hank and Janet were also pretty awesome within the movie. I think a prequel with the both of them as the classic Ant-Man and Wasp would be very cool to see at some point. We had the return of all of Scott's criminal buddies from the first movie, and I think all of the scenes with them were pretty hilarious as well. And I think all of the other characters and actors did pretty great in this movie as well. But for me, and I think a lot of other people, the standout of the movie was for sure Evangeline Lilly's Hope Van Dyne, or the Wasp. I thought she was great within the first movie, and throughout this one's entirety, she was just absolutely awesome. Finally getting the Wasp suit and name and everything, she was for sure my favorite character within this movie, and was just a badass character throughout. And after watching some of the cast interviews for the movie, it seems like a lot of people would either like a Wasp solo movie or an all-female Marvel superhero team-up film, so either way I'd be totally on board for this. Just more Wasp in the future would be greatly appreciated. Next up, let's talk about the scenery and CGI and kind of cinematography and everything. This was one of the main standouts of the previous movie, and all of the effects surely did not disappoint in this one either. All of the growing and shrinking tracking was great throughout the film, and there was always a new and creative way to implement it into a fight scene, and that just made the action in this movie pretty awesome as well. The quantum realm also looked really cool, just like it did in the first movie, and the other standout effect for this movie, I would have to say, would be the de-aging CGI for flashbacks. And now I don't think this is spoilery to say, but just as we saw in the first one, we do get to see some younger versions of some of the older characters through flashbacks. So the CGI that they use to sort of digitally de-age these actors into making them look younger like they did like 30-40 years ago, it looked pretty awesome, and this makes me very excited to see how it will look in Captain Marvel, because if you guys were unaware, it was confirmed that they will be using this same technology to digitally de-age Nick Fury and Agent Coulson as well for that movie. So again, I thought that this was one of the coolest effects throughout the movie. But other than that, guys, that pretty much does it for this quick little review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. I really loved this movie. It is one of my favorite, if not my favorite Marvel sequels, and I think it has some of the best humor as well. So I definitely suggest going to see this movie. It's just a fun, action-packed experience, and it is definitely needed after Infinity War. It was a nice change of pace to just have a very funny, self-contained adventure. As for the links to Infinity War and Avengers 4, all I will really say is I think the quantum realm could be the key to everything, and maybe sprinkle a little bit of time travel in there too. But that's all I'll really say for now without going into spoilers. And as always, stay through the credits. There is a mid and a post-credit scene that you do not want to miss if you are a big MCU fan or just a fan of these movies in general. And as always, just, you gotta stay through the end credit scene, because, post-credit scenes are awesome. And all I will say about those post-credit scenes is that they do link to Infinity War and Avengers 4, so you definitely do want to see Infinity War before you go out and see this movie. So yeah, definitely see Infinity War first. But other than that, guys, tell me what you thought of Ant-Man and the Wasp down in the comments below. If you have seen it, and if not, are you excited to go see this movie at some point soon? I want to know all of your thoughts on everything down in the comments below. But until next time, guys, it's been Tazz, and I'll see you guys in the next video.